Peace. What's the word, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid. Hopefully, everybody's having a powerful Thursday morning thus far. It's one of those spontaneous builds. Have a little downtime in between my sessions. So I just want to speak some words of encouragement, inspiration, motivation. I'm going to give everybody about 2 to 3 minutes to tap in. Like I said, hopefully y'all up and at them early and just got about 45 minutes to listen to the bill, add the 2 cents, all that good stuff. So what's the word? How everybody living and feeling on this fabulous Thursday, man? We trying to keep the energy positive, powerful, productive, efficient, all of that good stuff, man. We going to build on something very important today in regards to feeling pressured into settling for less, just feeling pressured to make a decision in general. A lot of people fold under pressure, and a lot of us, we don't think before we make decisions. Therefore, that results into us settling for less, settling for an unfavorable situation. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop allowing the pressure to defeat us. We got to stop allowing the pressure to get the best of us. A lot of people don't know how to handle pressure when it comes to making decisions in life. We feel like we're racing against the clock, or we got to compare ourselves and our lives to the people around us on social media, things like that. And that contributes to the pressure. And that's when most people begin to fold. So we got to stop folding, man. We got to stop succumbing to the pressure, man. It's killing a lot of us. It's causing a lot of us to end up in bad circumstances and situations. And once we end up in those bad circumstances and situations, it's hard to get ourselves out of that situation or that circumstance. And it's all because we couldn't handle the pressure, or it's all because we allowed that pressure to get the best of us. And that led to us making that terrible decision. So we got to do better, man. We got to do better with handling pressure. Got to do better, period. But what's the word, man? How y'all living, man? I know it's early, you know what I'm saying? It's 9 a.m. on my side of town, man. It's pretty early. One of those early streams, man. Get your breakfast in with this stream. Ray Shine, peace. Magic, peace. What's happening? What's the word? Khalil, peace, my brother. What's happening? What's the word? How y'all living and how y'all feeling? But that pressure gets the best of us, and it starts early. It starts early with what they call peer pressure, man. Again, this is the reason why a lot of people fold. This is the reason why a lot of people are in terrible situations right now, because they folded under pressure, man. Folded. Some of us can handle pressure. Some of us can't handle pressure. If you know you're one of those ones that cannot handle pressure, then you need not place yourself in situations to where that pressure is going to be present. Nick, peace, what's happening? Ray Shine, let's get it. Get that work in. But yeah, man, I mean, I've personally been in situations to where pressure was present, you know what I'm saying? And it was strong, and that can just distort your mind as far as the decision-making process goes, man. So when you got a lot of pressure that you're dealing with, man, that is going to tamper with the decision-making process. It's going to tamper with the quality of the decision-making process, man. So we got to really, when you know that you are under some sort of pressure to make a decision, man, you got to give it time. Give it time. You know what I'm saying? Do not make a decision quickly when you are dealing with pressure. Don't do that. Give yourself time to think it out, think it through. Because the last thing you want to do is make a quick decision based on pressure. Then you're going to end up in a situation that you're not too fond of. Ray, peace, what's the word? Magic, most definitely. And a lot of times, like I said, that pressure causes people to make quick decisions. If the quick decision is not something that's stemming from like the gut, something that you just know is right or not right, if that's not the foundation of your quick decision, then hold off on making that decision. Miss Naya, peace, what's happening? Hold off on making that decision. If you just making a quick decision based off of other people pressuring you or social media pressuring you or whatever the case may be, if you just making a quick decision based off of some form of pressure, hold off on it. Doors Garden, peace, what's happening? Hold off on that decision, man. Telling you, you will always regret a decision like that. A lot of people say, I don't have regrets. That's false in my world. You know what I'm saying? That's false in my world. I'm not going to ever live my life and say I don't have regrets. Now, that's not necessarily me viewing something in a negative light, because, of course, you learn lessons, you extract lessons from the things that you regret, but that don't necessarily take away from the fact that you may regret it. So I'm not one of those ones that live a life to where I'm like, I don't have anything that I regret. No, I have plenty of decisions that I made in life that I regret. Yeah, I still learn from them, but I still regret making that decision. And if I would go back in time, I would not make that decision. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with admitting that you regret a decision that you have made. Nothing is wrong with that, man. Nothing is wrong with that at all. Plenty of decisions that I've made that I regret. Like, dang, man, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have made that decision back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Learning to love myself. Peace. What's happening? Doris Gordon, let's get it. Let's get the smoothie in. TZ, my brother. Peace. What's happening? You know, so again, it's now, and this another thing too. If you are in a situation where you feel like a person is applying pressure to you to make the decision, then you might want to evaluate that person, man. Why are you rushing me to make this decision? Especially if it's not something that's that deep. Calm down. We're going to make the decision in due time. Don't be rushing me, especially when we have time. For whatever it is that you need the decision made for, we have time for me to make this decision. Don't rush me. Like, that's one thing I can't stand. Like, I tell people that all the time. Do not rush me. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. I'm going to do things on my dime when I want to do it, especially if there really is legitimately no rush to make this decision. Like, me not making the decision is not going to result in the death of somebody or pain for somebody. Then why are you rushing me? Like, calm down. Let me make this decision naturally, organically, in due time. You know, I'm not one for people rushing me. If I feel like somebody is rushing me, I'm going to let them know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Big Smooth, peace, what's happening? Ray Shine, and you know, sadly enough, a lot of people do that. And that's pressure. And it stems from it stems from your upbringing. You know, your parents raising you a certain type of way. So that's where the first pressure comes from for the most part, man. If you got any decent parents in your life, any decent adult role models, if they are present in your life, that's where the first form of pressure starts, because you don't want to let them down. So you start making decisions revolving around their satisfaction. You were like, dag, man, I'm gonna do this because I feel like this will make my mom's happy. I'm gonna do this because I feel like this will make my pops happy. I'm gonna do this because I feel like it'll make my grandfather, grandmother happy, and so on and so forth. That's one of the first forms of pressure that we face outside of the peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? We try not to let our role models down in the form of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever it is that raised you. You don't want to let them down. So that leads to you making a lot of decisions that neglect your happiness and your inner peace because you try not to let them down. You know? So at some point, you're going to eventually have to tap into yourself, and you got to make sure you're making decisions that revolve around your peace, your sanity, your happiness, your joy, whatever the words you want to use. You know, so at some point you got to get in tune with that. Who am I making this decision for? Is it for somebody else or is it for myself? You got to ask yourself that question a lot of times, man. And sadly enough, most times if people answer this truthfully, they making decisions for other people. You know, they making this decision for somebody else, not themselves. Sadly enough. The world is a much better place when you start to make decisions for yourself, for your own peace and happiness. I'm telling you, everybody around you will benefit when you make decisions for yourself, for your peace, for your happiness. That benefits everybody. Instead, when you making decisions for everybody else, it may benefit them temporarily, but guess who is killing permanently? It's you. You know, that's tearing you up permanently, man, because, again, you losing yourself trying to live for everybody else. You losing your identity. That's why a lot of us have an identity crisis in this country, because we living for everybody else instead of ourselves. We living out the role in everybody else's story or in somebody else's story instead of creating our own story. Book of life, as we call it. You know, and we have this identity crisis, man. We trying to tap into a character that we haven't created. Like, you trying to get in tune with a character you haven't created. When you write a story, guess what? You create the character, which is you. You are in control of the character, which is you. So it's hard to have an identity crisis when you are the one that has created the story, have created the story. But when you didn't create the story and somebody else is in charge of the creation of your character, it's hard to get in tune with that. It's hard to get in tune with it. Luna, peace, what's happening? Sportman, peace, what's the word? Luna, for sure. I'm always moving slower. Somebody rushing me, I'm going to take my time intentionally. D Monty, peace, what's happening? Big Smooth. CC, peace, what's happening? Yeah, Magic, exactly. Like, I never was the one, I never really fell victim to peer pressure most of the time. You know, that's why to this day I haven't did two things that most people my age bracket did back in the day that I was always around. I just never did it, and that's drinking and smoking. I never did those two things, yet I was always around it, or I was around people that did it. But I never fell victim to peer pressure. Like, I was like, nope, not drinking. I don't care how many people around me are drunk. I could be in a room filled with like 30 people and everybody drunk but me, and I'm still not drinking. You know, that was me exercising that willpower, that mental strength, and that discipline at an early age. You know, I'm not about to do something just simply because everybody doing it. I'm not about to do something simply because people I'm rocking with are doing it. I've never been that type of dude. Never been that type of dude, like, at all. I'm not gonna make a move based off of other people making the move. Like I said, if anything, I'm suspect. If I see everybody else doing this, then I'm like, nah, this is probably something I don't need to be doing. You know? Big Smooth is crazy. I was just talking about Filbert from Rocco the other day. That's crazy. Big Black, peace, what's happening? All doors going for sure, and I'm that person. And best believe it. And what's sad though, being that person, I've always talked about it. What's sad is it's almost like being a virgin and people trying to pop your cherry. And what, unfortunately, that's how it is when I would go to functions back in the day. Now people don't necessarily bother me, but back then it was like people was always trying to get me to drink and smoke because they knew I didn't do it. And unfortunately, a lot of times it would be family members, and of course it would be so-called friends. I always thought that was trash, and I used to get like upset. And then when you get upset about that, then they tell you that you too serious and you overreact. And it's like, nah, man, if I tell you I don't do something, then don't try to get me to do it. I just told you I don't do it. So I have the right to get upset. You know, so people always trying to tell you when you have the right to be mad and all that type of nonsense. I don't like that. I don't like when somebody tries to tell me when I should get upset versus when I shouldn't. Like, nah, if I tell you that I don't do something, if I tell you once, if I say, nah, I don't drink, and you keep trying to get me to drink, then nah, I have every right to respond accordingly to that. I'm not one of those ones that's going to continue to allow you to disrespect my lifestyle after I done told you something. You know, so if I let you know something and you keep trying to push it on me, then guess what? I'm going to respond accordingly. So you can call it serious. You can call it overly emotional, sensitive, whatever you want to call it. No, I told you something that I don't do, and now I feel like you disrespected me. You know, so again, I feel like that pressure that people try to apply on me is disrespect. That's how I view somebody pressuring me into making a decision, especially when I tell them I don't do something, or when I tell them I'm going to do something. Like, if I tell you that I'm going to get something done and I know what type of person I am because my word is my bond, if I tell you this is going to get done, trust me, it's going to get done. Don't continue to follow up with me. I used to be that way when I worked in corporate America. Don't micromanage me. Listen, if you gave me a list of tasks to do for the day, I'm going to do them to the best of my abilities. Do not breathe down my neck every 30 minutes asking me, did I do X, Y, and Z? Now you're going to frustrate me. Just let me rock, man. I told you I got it. Let me rock. Leave me alone. Like, I've never been one of those individuals that likes for people to be breathing down my neck, pressuring me. Like, no, I'm going to eventually tell you to chill out. Like, I got it. I told you I got it. If you keep breathing down my neck, I'm probably not going to do it. And it's going to be intentional at this point. So that's how I used to rock when I was in corporate America. Listen, you gave me these listed duties. I told you I'm gonna do them to the best of my abilities. Leave me alone now. That's how I used to like to rock. Hence why I'm not in corporate America right now. This is exactly why me and corporate America don't get along, because a lot of managers don't understand that. Putting that pressure on you to do something after you said you was going to do it and handle it. Please leave me alone, man. I told you I got it. Big Black, my brother, appreciate that donation. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for sure. Doris Gordon, what you say? How did you deal with them clowning you? You know what's crazy, Doris Gordon? It wasn't even like I never really got clowned. The only thing I got was the pressure. The people trying to bust a cherry. But after so many times of people trying to do that, and they saw how I responded, they saw my demeanor and how serious and committed I was to not doing it, people just leave me alone. They just leave me alone when it comes to that. You know, because at the end of the day, like I'm true to this. So, and I never really let it affect me. All I would do is correct the error when people continue to try to pressure me to do it. I let them know, like, nah, I told you I wasn't doing it and I'm not doing it. I'm standing on that. You know, I'm not making it a big deal. I'm not crying about it. I just firmly tell them, no, I'm not doing it because that's what I told you. Now stop asking me. So when you come at people direct like that, they gonna leave you alone. They gonna leave you alone. And that's all that I would do. I would stand firm. I would stand on my square and let them know, hey, I told you, told you I don't drink, told you I don't smoke. Stop asking me. It's not going to happen. And I just keep living, keep it pushing. KF, peace, what's happening? Big Smooth for sure. See, exactly. And again, and I feel like that's why. And this ain't even to say I'm better than people, none of that. This is just why I feel like I was born to be what they would say a rebel, because I feel like I always move differently. Not even feel like, people have told me this. People that I grew up with have told me that I always move differently, even back in the day. So that's why I just feel like it's almost in my DNA and blood to just be different from the norm. Not saying that that's better or good. It's just always how I have been. I've always been that way. Like, even as far as my choice of music, back when I was a kid, I would always try to find music that people my age bracket wasn't listening to. Like everything, man. I always gravitated, you know, I was into sports. I always gravitated towards the athletes that most people didn't like. Things like that, man. I was always on that type of vibe. You know, I was always on that type of vibe. Even as far as, like, I followed a few trends as far as dressing, but then for the most part, I try to do my own thing as far as clothing and things like that. I try to find, I would try to, you know what I'm saying, I try to find shoes that most people not wearing. I try to find jackets that most people not wearing. Sportsman for sure, yeah. You know, and even before I came across the statement, the philosophy that my word is my bond, like I pretty much was always living that way, man. Just standing on your square. Before I came across it, I was always living like that, man. That's the way that you must live, you know. And again, sometimes I folded, man. Sometimes I folded under pressure, man. Sometimes I made decisions that just revolved around. My big problem is emotional pressure. That's where I fold a lot. And what do I mean by emotional pressure? I come from a family of helpful people. Like, we will, like, listen, from my moms, my pops, to like my grandmother, we gonna go out of our way to help people. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I fold under that pressure. If I'm in a situation, man, and somebody is applying emotional pressure to me to where I feel like, man, they really need my assistance, or they not gonna make it, or they not gonna be okay, or something like that, then I'm, you know, more than likely I'm gonna fold. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a helpful person. I don't want to see anybody struggling, especially somebody that I'm connected to and close to. I don't want to see that. So a lot of times, man, I fold under that type of pressure, man. So sometimes the best way for me not to fold under that pressure is to distance myself from people, because I know I'm a real helpful person, man. So I will go out of my way to help an individual that I'm close to, that I'm connected to. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times that pressure gets the best of me. You know, people selling you that sob story, and you don't want to see your people struggling, although they may be lying to you. Sometimes that pressure be getting to me. That's the pressure that I be having to conquer for the most part. Just telling certain people no. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna help you. I don't care how close we are. You know, that's the pressure that might get me. If any type of pressure gonna get me, is that one. Cause I don't wanna see people struggle. Like I don't wanna see people struggle and suffer at all. Like I'm a kind-hearted person, man. Like I said, I'm a helpful person. Contrary to what people may believe when they see me, you know, people judge the book by its cover. They see my image and think one thing, but I'm gonna go out of my way to help people. I mean, y'all can see it on these platforms. I'm always giving out information for the free. I'm not trying to charge people for some of this information that a lot of people charge for when it comes to like nutrition and health and things like that, man. I will go out of my way to help folk, whether they listen or not, you know? And sometimes that's to a fault. For the most part, it's to a fault because I wasted a lot of energy striving to help people that ain't even listening. You know what I'm saying? I've wasted a lot of energy in my life. I wasted a lot of my energy typing up things for people not to follow, giving people some game for them not to listen and follow. Like I wasted a lot of energy. But I want to help you. I want to see everybody win, man. I want to see everybody shine. I want to see everybody evolve, man. I don't want to see anybody struggle. I don't want to see anybody sick. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see people out here dying. I hate to see that. So that's why when I feel like I got some important information for you, I'm gonna try to give you that information because I don't want to see you suffering, man. Especially if I came across an information I know it helped me. I'm like, hey, man, you suffered from this. I went through that, man. Let me give you this information. You know? But I've learned that that could be a big flaw, man. I mean, it's good to help people, man, but at the end of the day, hey, what they say, choose your battles wisely, man. You got to know who to help. You know, and that's the key. You got to have discernment when it comes to helping folks. Got to have proper discernment, man. Everybody is not deserving. Everybody is not deserving. Everybody is not deserving. Just remember that, man. Everybody is not deserving. Like straight up, man. Everybody is not deserving. I'm not about to go out of my way, man, to try to help any and everybody anymore, man. I've learned valuable lessons in regards to that. AR, what you say? You say, is it wasting time or investment in your moral compass? Yeah, it definitely could be an investment for sure. Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And you could essentially look at everything, man, as an investment, especially when you extract the lesson from it. So again, when you extract the lesson from it, then you could definitely look at it as an investment. Most definitely. Magic, exactly. You know, and that's a problem that I have. Like I said, real helpful, man. So when family members, man, when people that I've been rocking with for a long time or I've known for a long time come to me with a situation, man, it's like sometimes it's really hard to say no. Now that don't mean I haven't said no. You know, depending on the person and the relationship with said person, sometimes it becomes problematic, you know. So I don't like that type of pressure at all. And a lot of times and a lot of people know that. So a lot of people prey on that when they know that you fall victim easily to that emotional pressure. They apply that pressure to you. You know that family member that always come around when they need something from you. They know exactly what type of sob story to sell to you because they know you that type of person. They know you a helpful person. That's why they coming to you opposed to the other cousin, the other brother, the other sister. They coming to you because they know more than likely you gonna fold. You know, so I've been in situations like that to where it's like, man, at this time I'm gonna have to hit you with the knob. You know, and then that's when they act like you the worst person on the planet. You didn't help them 100 times, but then that 101 time that you didn't help them, now you the evil villain. You an evil person now. Like, nah. Like, not at all. Every piece, what's happening? Yeah, choosing your battles wisely is key. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people do not choose their battles wisely. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that. They don't do it at all. Oh yeah, doors work. Yeah, man, I'm telling you. That's unfortunately, that's what comes with being a people's pleaser. You know what I'm saying? Once you disconnect from that, then now all of a sudden you selfish. And they start you like that almost gets to you at a certain point. You're like, dang, man, because you don't want to be selfish. When you're a people pleaser, like you have a hard time when people start calling you selfish, especially when you know you're not. So you be like, hold on, wait a minute now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the last thing you want to be identified with is being selfish. So it takes a minute for you to like adjust to being selfish because at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with being selfish. Self-preservation, first law of nature. First law of nature, self-preservation. So again, I'm not, I had to accept that. I had to accept the reality that being selfish is cool. It's cool. What's crazy is being selfish actually is going to end up resulting in you being selfless at the end of the day. Miss Witt 205, peace. You say don't change your heart because of people that's on them, for sure. For sure. Sometimes that becomes a little challenging, but hey, it is what it is. Jasmine, peace, what's happening? And give me a second, y'all. Anais, peace, what? All right, we back in this thing, man. I had to respond to a client, man. But we in this thing, we back in here. Yeah, Nias, hey, that's how you gotta be. That's how we gotta be. We gotta be very selfish out here, man. We gotta be. Like I said, being selfish is going to result in you being selfless at the end of the day. And people don't understand that because if I take care of myself, if I'm at peace, guess what? I'm going to make sure everybody around me is straight. At the end of the day, that's how it's gonna work. That's how it works. That is exactly how it works. I take care of myself, therefore now everybody else around me is going to be taken care of because I'm at peace, I'm satisfied. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. Airview for sure, man, because we tapped in, we in tune. You know what I'm saying? We tapped in. AK, and man, I'm telling you, detachment. I'm going to continue to push that concept. I'm going to push that concept for the rest of my life, detachment. And that's simply what detachment is. If I'm with somebody, I'm at peace. If I'm not with somebody, I'm at peace. That's real simple. I don't know why people cannot understand and accept and embrace that concept. No matter what happens in your life, I'm at peace. No matter what happens in my life, the show must go on. That's what detachment is about, man. Best way to live. No matter the outcome of this particular situation, I'm going to be good. I'm going to bounce back. Yeah, Chris is crazy. Can't multitask at all. I got to tap out of this joint just to tap into something else. It's crazy. Sportman, not bad at all. And Magic, for sure. Big time inner peace. That's how you establish that inner peace. I'm telling you, man, you got to detach. And Bruce Lee, my man's, empty the cup. All of these things, man. That is just how you got to view the world. That's how you got to live life, man. Just detaching and emptying the cup gets you very far in life, man. That's why I'm unbothered by a lot of things because I'm not attached to a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mastering the art of detachment or the science of detachment, whatever you want to refer to it as, I'm telling you, has gotten me very far in life, has led to a lot of evolution, a lot of growth on my behalf, on my part. That's why I'm always pushing and promoting that concept to people. That's a great way to deal with pressure from the outside. Is being detached. Because at the end of the day, now you're really not concerned about them applying that pressure on you. D-Monty, exactly, man. That's what my Buddhist folk tell you. That's what my Buddhist folk tell you. They tell you that the origin of a lot of suffering, it stems from the attachments. And I tell people every time, man, when you dealing with anything that you suffering from, when you really thoroughly break it down and get to the root, it's going to have something to do with being attached to something, whether it's a concept, idea, person, place, thing, whatever. It's going to stem from some form of attachment every time. Every time. So when you learn to detach, man, I'm telling you, all the suffering, it will cease, and that peace, it will be activated. Because again, peace and happiness, these are inside jobs. These are not things that you got to receive from the outside. You know what I'm saying? These are not things that you receive from up above. You know, these are not things that you receive. Like, these are things that you activate. Peace, happiness, sanity, inside jobs, man. You activate these things internally. Instead, we feel like we gotta seek and search for these things. Like, nah, you don't have to do that. AR, here we go. Hey, I was studying Buddhism heavy way back in the day. And I mean, I still read about it, you know, but back then I was studying it hard because I was dealing with that identity crisis hard, man. A few people may know the journey and whatnot, but like right around the time I was graduating high school, man, I felt like something was missing, man, just internally, you know. So I just started. That's when I really started picking up the habit of reading, and I was studying a lot of Buddhism. I studied Islam. Those were the two groups that I was studying a lot: Islam and Buddhism. You know, I was studying them joints a lot. Sufism, basically. If y'all know that form of Islam, but I was studying that, and I was studying a lot of Buddhism, man. I was studying a lot of them joints, you know, and that led to some realizations for me. And of course, I was reading a lot of philosophy and things like that, you know, but just mastering the mind, man. And I credit Buddhism a lot to my growth and development as a person, for sure. So shout out to Buddhism, man, for sure, 100%. You would never hear me talk negatively about Buddhism just because of what it did for me and my mind. So I will never have anything negative to say for that particular culture, that way of life, because again, man, it helped elevate my mind. It helped me activate the peace internally. One of the more peaceful things I've ever studied in my life at a time where everything was very chaotic for me internally. You know, when in the time where I was dealing with a lot of chaos internally, I came across Buddhism at the right time. At the right time. All doors Gordon. Yeah, a lot of people had that fear, but hey, listen. I'm cool with being to myself, by myself, being alone. Like, I can embrace that, you know. I'm gonna get a lot accomplished when I'm by myself and to myself. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy my own company, so to speak. You know, and we gotta get better with that, enjoying our own company. You know, it takes some time. If you're not used to it, like, I feel like honestly I was born like that though. You know, I always enjoy my own company, man, because again, I'm the youngest child. You know, the age gap is big between my siblings and I, you know, so I never really kicked it with my brother and sister growing up because like they was always older, so they didn't want to be around me. So I always just kind of kicked it to myself, you know. And like y'all already know, I wasn't really too fond of having a gang of friends and things like that, you know. So I always kind of stayed to myself. So I pretty much was born into that type of role, being cool with being isolated. You know, so I was always cool with isolation. That never really bothered me. I started like, and honestly, that affected me, and it still affects me to this day in relationships. The fact that I was so comfortable being isolated early on, that actually created problems for me, relationship wise in the future. Because when you are cool with being isolated early on, guess what? You don't like people disturbing your peace. You don't like people you don't like people tampering with your isolation. You don't like people interrupting your isolation. You know, when you have been living a certain type of way for so long and you have embraced it and accepted it, now you have a problem when things are different. You know, it's almost like, I know somebody, for instance, they about to get married, right? But they've been so used to being by themselves, they saying it's a major adjustment because now they about to have to share their bed with another person. They gonna have to live with another person, and they done been doing these things. They done been doing these things on their own for like the last 10 years. So they like, this gonna be a major adjustment. That's how it was for me. Like, I was always cool being solo dolo, being to myself, rocking with people when I wanted to rock with them. You know what I'm saying? So then when I started to get older and it's like, all right, it's time for relationships, I was like, hold on, it's different. Now I got to rock with people on their time. That was new to me. Like, I was always the person that, all right, I'm going to go outside when I want to. I'm going to rock with people when I want to. You know, so yeah, that created a lot of problems. because that's how I like to rock. Yeah, Anais, they really don't, but they gonna do it. So see how long that lasts. AK for sure. It's a book called what? The 5 Levels of Attachment. That's a jewel right there. Just Peace, what's happening? Sportman, yeah, isolation is very powerful, man. That's why I feel like when some brothers get locked up and they hit that solitary confinement, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, some people be finding themselves in those type of situations, man. When I read the book on Tukey Williams, his autobiography, man, he talked about just being in solitary confinement and it leading to some realizations, some discoveries, some inner discoveries. You know, so that confinement can be very powerful, man. Can be very powerful. So don't run from it. Montel, Peace, what's happening? Don't run from that confinement. D Monty, for sure, you learn a lot about yourself, man. A lot. Like a lot, yo. When you to yourself, you learn a lot. And it ain't even you learn a lot, just not even about learning a lot in general, because you start to realize things. You start to think about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like you start figuring out a lot of situations, man, a lot of problems. You start solving a lot of problems when you to yourself because you just start thinking about a lot of things. You start thinking about a lot, man. I do that all the time. When I get to myself, I start thinking about some of the most random things. And I start solving problems. I start reaching conclusions. I start building on solutions. Things like that. Marcel, Peace, what's happening? Yeah, it's a very peaceful thing. Very peaceful life, man. Very peaceful, man. Like I'm telling you, peace and quiet is underrated. Peace and quiet could be the remedy to a lot. In this chaotic and noisy world, peace and quiet is like, I'm telling you, it's a remedy. It's therapeutic. Peace and quiet is therapeutic, man. When you hit an environment, I'm talking about we live in a fast-paced, noisy world. So when you get into a situation where it's just peace and quiet, man, that's therapeutic. That's therapeutic. Like it's therapeutic. When I'm somewhere in this peace and quiet, it might just be me and a book, no noise, or it just might be me and myself, peace and quiet. That's therapy, man. That's true therapy right there, man. People always want to talk about therapy in regards to seeing a therapist or what they call the rapist. But people always talk about that form of therapy. What about that self-therapy when it's just peace and quiet? That's therapeutic, man. That's therapeutic. People talk about working out as therapy for sure, but peace and quiet, therapeutic. Therapeutic. I'm telling you, man, I could sit somewhere, man, where there's no noise and I don't talk, I don't do anything. I can just sit in silence for a very long time. I can sit in silence for a very long time, man, and just think. Like I can do that for a long time. I have no problem doing it at all. Like at all. Oh, yeah, I think I've heard about that. AK for sure, man, and that's one thing I always try to communicate. Isolation is very necessary for a person such as myself. For people like us, isolation is necessary. Like when you get in a relationship, you got to communicate that ASAP. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of people do take it personal. Even when you tell them, don't take it personal. Like, nah, like I just need my isolation. I'm telling you, in order for this relationship to be the best that it's gonna be, like isolation time for me is very necessary, man. It's very necessary. It's a requirement. Like I've gotta have that me time. I've gotta have that alone time. I've gotta have that isolation time. And I feel like everybody needs that in a relationship. Heck, you shouldn't want to always be up under another person. Like we both need isolation. We both need that time apart from each other. Like that's going to make the bond stronger. We don't need to be up under each other 24/7. That's ridiculous. That's an obsession. That's actually sick to me. Like that's sick to me. Like I question people like that. Like I don't want to rock with somebody that's like that, man, because again, you have an attachment issue. You are obsessed. It's a bunch of things that's going on right there because you feel like you got to be up underneath a person 24/7. That's not normal. Snuggles, peace, what's happening? Like that's not normal. That's not healthy. You know, to feel like you gotta be up underneath the person, man. That's not cute. Like none of that. It's none of that, man. Like I don't laugh at that. I don't find that cute. No. Like if somebody is talking about that and they start laughing, like, oh, that's cute. Like I'm sitting back there disgusted. Like, nah, man, no. Like, nah, like you mean to tell me y'all up under each other 24/7, like, and nobody has a long time? Like, that's frightening to me. I can't deal with that. I can't do that. Like that is not good for my mental at all. To be in a situation where I gotta be around like 24/7, you up underneath people. You up underneath the person. No, it's not healthy. Do not recommend that. Do not recommend that at all. It's an obsession, like I said, it's unhealthy. It's just something wrong there. It's something wrong there for you to feel that way. Like for you to feel that way is a problem. Yes, you can enjoy people's company, but again, that don't mean that you got to be around them 24/7, up underneath them 24/7. Like, no, give people space. Space is needed, man. Space is needed, big time. Like, space is very important, man. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. Space is important. Bawana Immortal, peace, what's happening? Space is important, man. When you in a situation, man, y'all have got to give each other space. I'm telling you. That's going to make y'all situation a lot better, man. It's a beautiful thing to have space. It's a beautiful thing to say, all right, man, I'm about to sit over here on this side and I'm going to do my reading, I'm going to do my meditation and this, that, and the third. Then, boom, your partner handling business on that side. And ain't nobody complaining. Ain't nobody crying about not being up under each other, man. When y'all do your own things, then y'all come back together and y'all share y'all experiences. You know, that's peace, man. That's peace. Peach, man, Peach, I'm telling you, it can get tragic, man. It can get tragic, it can get devastating. Like we don't have time for that, man. Again, just have some things that you can do solo dolo. It's necessary. It's necessary, man, because I didn't seen that. I have seen people that do everything together, always up underneath each other. I've seen how that ends. When something happens to one of the people, the other person, like I said, it's not too long after that something happens to them. And that's not a good situation to be in because they did everything together. So all that person knew was being with that person and doing things with that person and being up underneath that person. So now when that person is removed from the situation, now this person is miserable. This person is miserable. So we not living like that. We promote health, you know, and with health, there's isolation. You know, that's part of balance. That's part of equality that we deal with. That's part of all of that, you know. That's what balance is all about, man. That's how you balance out your life in a relationship, man. That's how you do it. When they call it work-life balance, like you got to have that same type of balance when it comes to yourself and other people. Yeah, CC, there we go. Just talking about balance. Ollie, peace, what's that? You say, I like being single alone is just fine. Hey, and like I say, a lot of people straight can't handle that. They can't handle, and that's why they be jumping. Again, it's the pressure. You know what I'm saying? It's that pressure. A lot of people can't handle that pressure. Like people be getting single and they feel like they have got to be in a relationship. That's sick. It's almost like, I'm gonna give y'all a little jewel. It's almost like if you was conducting interviews, right? And you was looking at a person that was interviewing for a job and you see that they keep jumping from job to job, you're going to be like, why do you keep jumping from job to job? You're not trusting that person. You're not trusting that candidate. It's the same thing with a person that keep jumping from relationship to relationship. Why do you keep doing that? Settle down. Slow it down, man. Slow it down. Get your life together. Get your life together. Peace for sure. A man cave is therapy, for real. You know, a man cave is therapy for the simple fact the woman gonna have the rest of the house. So the man needs a portion of the crib where he can go and get away. You know what I'm saying? Because the woman, she gonna have the rest of the crib. So the man needs his cave. Very essential. The cave is needed. Oh, Marcel, man, listen, I done had some relatives, man. I seen it firsthand, and it's crazy. It's like, dude, that's devastating. That's devastating. Just for show. I'm already hip. You know what I'm saying? It's just the perspective that the person that's conducting the interview, you know what I'm saying? They use that against us. Like, hey, why you jump from job to job? Why you had 10 jobs over the past 5 months? You know what I'm saying? They use that against folk. Even though they know most of these jobs are trash and this, that, and the third. You know, but don't allow, like when you single and alone, don't allow that to have you feeling pressured to jump into a situation, man. Like I said, I see it all the time. Especially with women, man. With like women get to a certain age, boy, they really start rushing the process of like being in relationships, trying to get married and things like that. Slow it down, man. Slow it down. In due time, man. In due time. In due time. And then I talked about it. Beast Reincarnated Peace, what's happening? I wrote a status on Facebook that basically says something along the lines of like, everything that you want to happen in your life may not happen for you. And guess what? That's okay. Learn to embrace what is or what it is instead of what it isn't. And we have a problem with that, man. It's a lot of things that we want out of life, that we want in life, that just may not happen for us, man. That's the reality of life. We're not going to get everything that we want out of life. And that is fine. We got to be able to accept that, man. It's going to be things that you do not receive out of life that you have wanted since day one. And guess what? It's A-okay if you don't receive it. Just fine. Learn to embrace what you have received, though. Learn to accept what you have received. That's what we tend not to do. So again, yeah, I know you wanted X, Y, and Z, but it's not happening for you. But you got A, B, and C, though. Embrace A, B, and C instead of focusing on X, Y, and Z that you didn't receive. People don't do that. So again, start embracing the things that you have. Start embracing what is, instead of focusing and stressing over what isn't. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. But one immortal for sure. Oh, just man, trust me, man. I got a lot of people, a lot of clients, boy. Every time I look up, new job, you know what I'm saying? It's real in the field out here. I know how wicked it is out here. Most of these jobs be trash, don't pay enough, and want you to work like the president of the corporation, and they want to pay you, you know what I'm saying? They want to pay you minimum wage, entry level pay, and want you to work like the president and CEO. The good kid, Peace, what's happening? Yeah, there y'all go. Ladies den, man caves, like we out here. You know, this is wellness. You know what I'm saying? This is wellness. Holistic health at its finest right here. This is wellness. This is how you manifest health, man. You isolate, get your mind right, recenter, recalibrate, all of these things. This is how that happens, man. It's hard for you, and I'm of the opinion, it's my opinion, but it's impossible for me to recalibrate, center myself with other people. I have got to do that by myself. I can't center myself with other people involved. That's only something that I can do. I can only get myself centered. I can only straighten myself out. I can only recalibrate myself. I can't do that with other people. I can't do that with another person part of that process. That's on me to do it. I got to center myself. I got to recalibrate myself. I got to get my mind right. I don't hold anybody else to that. That's on me. I don't involve anybody else in that type of situation. Like, nah, if I'm out of whack, I got to get myself back in shape, man. I got to get myself back center, back balance. It's nobody else can do that. So therefore, I don't really like anybody else to be involved in that process, really. You know, I have to do that solo dolo, seriously. And again, it means no harm. A lot of people get in their feelings or they take that personal. Like, nah, it's real in the field. Because at the end of the day, I got to be able to balance myself out with or without a person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not about to be including people in that process, because at the end of the day, if I'm going through something and I can't recalibrate or center myself without another person being involved, I'm not going to get far in life. So I always do that by myself, to myself. Like, I got to do it. I don't like being dependent upon somebody else to center myself. Like, that's dangerous to me, you know? So I always center myself by myself. You know, I got to do that. I'm in charge of that. I'm not going to call somebody to try to get me back on track, to try to calm me down. If I can't calm myself down, we got bigger problems. Because what if it's the person you always call to calm you down? What if that person is no longer here? Then what you going to do? Like, then what are you going to do? It's a person that you always call to calm your nerves, but now that person is gone. Now what do you have? Man, you going to fold. You know, so I had to look at that like that, man. It's like, dude, I got to calm myself down. You know what I'm saying? I got to bring myself back down to earth. I got to do this for myself. Because, again, if I give that power to some other people, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem when that person is no longer here. And that you know what I'm saying? We not going to always be here. You know what I'm saying? So if you dependent upon another person, they not going to always be here. Somebody going to have to leave first. You know what I'm saying? So then what will you do? So these are questions that a lot of us don't want to deal with, but we must deal with them. We must deal with questions like that. CEO, peace, what's happening? Beast, hey, put it into motion then. Beast reincarnated, put it into motion. AR for sure. I'm telling you, man, one of the best things that I've mastered. And like I said, I've come a long way. I haven't always been this way. This is like that part that I'm talking about. Like, I developed this, man. Like, dude, I developed it. You know, I developed it. And I won't change it for the world, man, because, again, at the end of the day, like I said, no matter my situation, I'm going to be good, because now I'm able to center myself. I'm able to calm myself down. I'm able to look at myself and say, all right, man, you tripping. You going crazy, calm it down. Get yourself together. I'm able to do that. And being able to do that, like I said, gets me very far in life. And it will get you very far in life if you apply the principle. You know, I got my head on the swivel out here, man, trying to tap in to see if my clients up in here, man. I don't think they rolling in on me. Yep. Look like my client pulled up, y'all. So instead of me just ending this joint on you, I'm going to go ahead and end it on a positive note, you know what I'm saying, instead of just shutting it off. But I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. I appreciate the donations, all that good stuff, man. I'm going to try to tap in with y'all later on today or tomorrow. But I'm out, y'all. Peace.